how to scale to the custom software development from the WordPress.
You spend more time just to supporting what you have instead of developing some new things for your business.
How to transfer all the user data, user database, how to properly set up SEO.
Take the core, take what's giving you the most money and release it at the first time, and then add all bells and whistles.
Hi everyone! So today's topic is how to scale to the custom software development from the WordPress. To be honest, we make this record on the request of one of our partners who faced that issue, and actually that is very common problem. When you have already some business model which already work for years, makes you some money, and in one day, as it happens with every business, you understand that you need to scale and you need to make your business bigger, add more functionality. And issue which you face is technical limitation of the WordPress. And today we want to give you a few practical advices of how to scale to custom software from WordPress.
Yeah, so what's the real problem and what's the big deal about that? So first of all, let's understand what is the WordPress. WordPress is the CMS system, and Oksana will tell later about details and history for those maybe who don't know. But still, this is the cool tool for the start, for the proving of the concept. You have the business and you wanted to business idea and you wanted to try that, does it working at all? For example, we had real cool project. The idea was, in case you have the graveyard somewhere on the country where you don't live anymore, but you have graves there, you can come to the website and order, basically pay people to help you keep that grave clean without spending money for flight tickets to go to that country, and that's it. So this is that's the business idea of the software, right? And developing the whole marketplace is expensive. So what that customer done? He took the marketplace theme on the WordPress, which was already exist. That was that used to cost $50 or something, which is again not much to cost. He asked us to install everything, and then he just showed it to the investors. He showed it to people who potentially may use it, and by the reaction to this, he actually understood: is it proof? Is it worth it or no? Are anyone is actually interested in that? There was few users who start to register, so somebody who wanted to make money on the helping people graves to be in the good condition and so on, and someone who wanted to treat their relatives, dead relatives, let's call it like this, right, in the good mood, right, in the good condition, graves. Sorry for this. Yeah, but I believe you got the point. But that's all great for the proof of the concept. When we started to scale to the real product, so as you already understood, proof of concept was successful. So we understood there are the market, there are people in needs, there are money potential. So when we tried to scale this, that failed because too much users, too much special cases which WordPress hadn't been made for. And now, for those of you who love WordPress and who are, especially developers who know how to work with the WordPress, under the, very deeply, I know that it is possible to do this. The problem, does it actually worth it? I mean, because this is open source solution, it can be easy to break and so on and so on. So in some point, we need to understand that it is time to scale to something bigger. But before we move to that point, Oksana will tell you what is actually WordPress, where it became from, and why it's good to start from, but not good to continue.
Yeah, so WordPress is a free and open source content management system written in PHP. WordPress was originally creating for the blog publishing as a blog publishing tool in 23. So this is blog publishing for the personal using. So it was creating in order to give the people ability to make their own websites easily, fast and cheap. So for ordinary people. In that time, in 20s, it was very popular to have your own blog website where you share your own stories, because in that time
Facebook was not so popular.
Yeah,
Instagram
and Instagram
didn't
exist at all. So social media was limited, and because of that, people just create their own like personal website where they shared the same what we today share in our social media. So, and it was originally created for that aim. It provided a easily management system, like any person can fast understand how to use it. But then with the time, a lot of developers, a lot of engineers, designers started to work with WordPress too. And they updated it with different themes, with different plugins which make functionality bigger, and that is why people started use WordPress for the other aims than blog publishing. So which include like making the business websites, like landing pages for your business, news website, advertising website, and also some simple online shops. So that all was possible. In accordance to the latest data, 35% of all the websites in the world are developed with WordPress. So it is very big number, 35%. So why so many people use WordPress? Here is two reasons. First one, that it's very simple. So any person without engineering knowledge can play a few minutes with the WordPress and understand how it works. So everything are very easy, very simple to understand, and you can set up your own website like for a few minutes. You can buy different. You don't have to be designer to make a beautiful layout. A lot of free existing themes, a lot of plugins, so which you can use and which you can integrate. And the second reason, it is because it is fast and cheap. So simple, fast and cheap. Everything what ordinary people need.
Yeah, something that I would like to clarify. By fast, Oksana, I mean actually installing and working with this. WordPress itself as the software is not the fastest in the world, obviously. There are lots of things that you can buy. They're still cheap, but it's not free, of course. The problem with this that when you buy lots of that plugins and they all started working together, they're not actually working together.
Yeah, it is because it is actually what I wanted to continue, that this is advantages when you work with the simple products. But when you want to develop something more complex on the WordPress, so this advantages becomes your disadvantages. Mm-hmm. Because when you start to add different plugins, you have to understand that these plugins are not developed by original WordPress developers. That is like a big community of different developers, and everybody can write their own plugin. And you can't know exactly what the quality are of these plugins are, how many bugs it have, and how it will work with other plugins which you already have on your website. So the common issue when you start to put a lot of functionality into your WordPress site, plugins start to collapse between each other and cause different bugs and failures. Also, you have a lot of different spaghetti code which you actually don't need on your website, because like plugin can provide you like few different functionality, but you actually need one. But you have code for all this functionality.
Yeah, and they slow down site varies.
Yeah, so that is why WordPress websites are really very, very slow. So the loading time are very big, especially when you're starting to add functionality. Also, it is like cause security issues, because as you understand, 35% of the people have website on the same technology. And if someone will find a hole in one website, most probably they will be able to find these holes in other websites which use, for example, the same plugin. And so
funny thing about the security actually, that we used to work with the WordPress like a few years ago, and we still actually working for the existing customers, because sometimes this is really like, as we already mentioned, it's super great for the blogs, so like we need to support few of them, but funny story that about the security, WordPress is really easy to break. Mm-hmm. Once we had the case on the website that used to sell some beauty things, things for the beauty industry. I don't even know English names of such kind of things. But anyway, one day when we came there was the Muslim poems instead of that beauty items. And like, I have nothing against Muslim poems. That's great. But well, that wasn't the place for it. So this website was hacked. And the funniest thing that almost all customers, they think that some hackers from Russia like do it manually. So unfortunately, WordPress is so spreaded, which is, again, this is the big plus, but in the same time the big minus. Then actually it's not hacked by people. There are bots who just know the main vulnerabilities and they use them and they hack websites one by one. And when you ask why they do it, well, very simple. They just insert some kind of the backlinks, and then your website is becoming either the crypto mining farm for someone, or just providing the backlinks to someone, I don't know. Yeah, like most probably it will be some kind of the porn, or it will be some kind of the something for your potential or whatever. Yeah, like some Viagra, whatever shit, you know, which is actually bad, because most probably your service don't sell Viagra, you know, you sell some kind of other stuff. Well, anyway, let's not talk about WordPress. Let's talk about the practical things which you can do, and how you need to understand that moment that, okay, that's done and you need to move forward. So rule or advice number 0, you know, it's not the first advice, it's number 0, you know, the basic one. If the horse is dead, get off it. Okay? That's the first step that happening inside of your head, inside of your mind. Again, if the horse is dead, get off it. On some point of your business, you will realize then it doesn't work anymore. You hiring, I don't know, freelancers on the Upwork, you do it by your own, and you like adding some piece of the code. You added some piece of the code, then you wanted to update your WordPress because you don't want to have it be vulnerability. Because let's be honest, WordPress community actually updating it itself. So in case some vulnerabilities, they release the new version, they delete that vulnerabilities. But you just wrote some kind of your own piece of the code, and you already can not do update. It will not work. And on some moment you will get that problem so much and so often that it just, you know, you spend more time just to supporting what you have instead of developing some new things for your business, some new things for your customers. And when this moment comes, you just need to put the, you know, hard decision to stop it and start thinking about moving from this and start thinking about development on something else. It's not necessarily must be super custom software. It can be like more upgraded CMS. In case you're the e-commerce, maybe it makes sense to move to the Magento. Magento is super powerful e-commerce tool, and it's still not written from the scratch. Like, you don't need to do it from the scratch. But again, when you see that lots of time is spent for the supporting instead of development, this is the way, this is the time to make the decision to stop it.
And also, I think that the point when you see the development on the WordPress takes a lot of your investments, because why it is bad? So as we told before, it is possible to scale WordPress. It is possible to add the functionality. It is possible to find the developers who can develop wherever functionality you want on the WordPress. But it just makes no sense to invest in it, because you can invest the same money in the custom software, and custom software will always have the better quality, the better speed, the better view, the
outcomes.
Outcomes, so better security. So if you have option to invest in WordPress or invest in custom software, you have always to choose the option invest in custom software.
Yeah, that's true. But like the whole sense to working with the WordPress was like do it quickly, do it fast, and like make it work like in few days. But in case it doesn't work anymore, sense is gone. I mean, that's the point when you need to move forward.
Yeah, but it can be hard decision, really.
Of course, because you have something that is already working and making you money, and now you need kind of to stop developing that and kind of start from scratch from the technical standpoint of view. But you are not actually starting from the scratch. We will tell you why. But now this is like first real advice, which Oksana will tell you. Go ahead.
First thing, analyze your business and your current WordPress site and understand what core things actually makes your money. What is creates a backlog of the functionality, which is really, really important. It can be also hard because usually we think that everything is important, but you have just to sit down and to think, okay, this is something what is high priority, this is something what make me most of the money, that is the functionality for which people coming to my website and using it. And someone are on the less priorities. And this will help you to start, because you have to start fast and you need to start developing functionality will be the most valuable for the users. That is why setting the priorities in your next for your next project is very important.
Yeah, because when you actually start into developing, then the custom software is expensive and it taken some time to build. Like from my experience, the fastest release that you can do is like not sooner than 3 months. I mean that's for sure. Like usually longer, and like that 3 months is something supposed to happen. So just again, take the core, take what giving you the most money and release it at the first time, and then add all bells and whistles. So the second thing which you may take from what you already have on the WordPress, the second thing that you may take based on what you already have is next one. First of all, user database. I mean, you have the working website, and let's take e-commerce because it's easier. Like, for example, you have the e-commerce, you have the user database. That's something that you obviously need to migrate to your new custom solution. The second thing is some kind of the user data. Despite the fact of the list of the users, like name, emails, which you may use for the marketing or whatever, there are some kind of the activity that most probably how they behave, and that's possible to use. That's also something that you can take from. And the third one, which is the most important, I believe, is the CEO. Good thing about the WordPress sites, they're really good for the CEO in case you did it right. So there are something that you don't need to forget, which is crucial and very important. I mean that I would not lie in case I will tell that 60% of the businesses who come to the link up to develop their custom solution from the WordPress, they actually have very good CEO. And the worst thing that we can do for them is to release their new custom branded solution and then forget to write the special, actually not very hard, but few lines of code that will take their CEO from the WordPress side, like their positions on the engines, like on the Google, for example, to the new website. It's very simple to do. You are writing a few lines of the code. It's technically it's called 302 redirects or 302 redirects, in which you are letting Google know that this page doesn't exist anymore, but it's copied to the new places with the new URL. This is the way to save your position. This is very important to do, because then when you will launch your branded new solution, you will lose all of the positions in the Google, and that may be then your business may not start again.
Yeah,
that's super easy, but you need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, and it is actually something for which you have to care the most, and actually for what people care the most, that when if they will launch a new website, like their users, their current customer base, all their forces and efforts which they make to make their WordPress website SEO optimized, like to be good ranking in the Google, in the Yahoo, in the all search engines, that they very scared of losing all of it. So, and we must tell you, so don't be scared. So all your data, all your SEO from your WordPress website is very easy to
that's technically easy. The people who doing that just need to know this, and in case they don't for any reason, just tell them, like, I need to have it done.
And the third thing which we want to advise, so when you make the decision of moving from WordPress to custom development, do it fast. As Andrei told before, to set up the first version, you need, on the custom development, you need at least 3 months. And I know that when you already have like WordPress website and you want to scale, like you decided to move to the custom and you think like what functionality you need, and you tend to add new functionality to your old website, which is actually makes no sense because you already make the decision to move to the custom. But you still sometimes, I had such cases when like they support two platforms like WordPress because it is already existing, user know it, and they develop custom software on the side, and they starting invest money in both platforms, which actually makes no sense because in any way you will move to the custom at the end of the day, and putting functionality into WordPress actually will make your full development much more expensive. So focus on making it custom and just support your WordPress website and make it as fast as possible. So
Support in order not to lose the existing user.
Yeah. So, and I think you are example
yeah, I
guy.
actually have the great. Well, it's example is great to tell it to someone, but itself this is not something. This is the bad story actually. But I would like to tell it to you, not to fall in the same pit, right? So, like 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember exactly, we have this great e-commerce website that we're supposed to develop, and that was the decision made by customer to develop in the WordPress, which was like fine, because in that time there was nothing that was super special about the e-commerce website. In the end of the day, well, I mean, you have this WooCommerce plugin, which work good, very good, and it gives you everything that you need. So what we done, we developed the solution, we launched it, and then our customer suddenly scaled to Japan, which is also great for his business. You need to understand that in Japan, there are like kind of different culture than in the US or in the Europe, which is also fine, of course. But there was some slightly changes in the marketing and the way how they present products. So when you switch to the Japan, there was slight changes in the button namings, not just in the sense of the translation, but in the sense of the user experience. Like that was something that was advised by marketing team from Japan to be changed. And we started to make this already custom solution in the WordPress. So now we didn't use any plugins, anything that already exists. We already started writing our new code, upon the plugins that exist. Business in Japan started doing really well. They started to get orders, and then we're supposed to extend to another payment platform. There was no plugins in the WordPress. And we wrote our own plugins to support that platform in Japan. Everything was great. Then suddenly our customers scaled to, as far as I remember, Bangladesh, to be sure, but maybe I'm wrong, but that area of Asia. And then there was some more custom solutions based on that. And at that time, we noticed that the main page of our website is starting to do really, really slow. There was some decision made to make it, better. We buy the bigger server. We optimize some images, done lots of stuff. On some moment, there was so much custom tweaks and tricks around different, website version. And by version, I mean languages, because that mostly was focused on different markets. Then we was not able to just update the website WordPress core. Like it was just impossible to update it. You may tell that we wrote the bad code, and maybe that's the true. But I just need to remember you that in the real life, when you have the real business that demand, some new features for yesterday, you kind of don't have too much time, to build the best architecture in the world. And the biggest WordPress advantages which you got at the beginning, it's super universal. That is your biggest pain point when you scale. It's so super universal that when you need some kind of the unique functionality and some kind of unique entities that you need to build for your business, that doesn't help you. And like adding any new entry slow down all of the website. Table structure is not properly architect to be adjust for your business logic. That's that the thing that I'm going to say will be sound too technical, but actually when you are developing the database for any business, like for example for the e-commerce, you have table of users, table of products, table of some special offers that is connect table of users, and all. For example, you have some special offers for some certain users, and most probably somewhere in the internet there are some plugins that exist, but then you add in something, just simple change of business logic which is not covered by existing plugins, require you to write the custom code, and requirement for writing custom code make your life more complicated, and at some point you get so much custom code, different plugins and all of that it just doesn't work anymore. It's like each next feature creating you more bugs and taking you more time than previously, and again in some point instead of developing you're just supporting in the hell. And that was the case with that exactly website, and at some point he could not scale anymore.
So I think that is if last week we launched a new podcast about what is the quality of the software, where we told about technical debt. And actually there in this podcast with engineer we was talking that in one point when you don't care about your technical debt, which is like lack of documentation, lack of proper processes, pure code, the optimization of the system, you can come to the point when the scaling of supporting of your system become so expensive that you can't just afford it. And that is actually the case. So because WordPress are not good for scaling, in one point we came to the point where the technical debt was so big.
The big advantage of the custom software is it's more universal to change. And by the way, you also can have the big technical debt on the custom software. That's also possible to do, but not so easy as on something that kind of telling you from the beginning what architecture is supposed to be. That example is just clearly show, and you may ask, why didn't we tell customer to, okay, let's already spend some time to rebuild it. We did, but the problem was that they was doing so great in business that he thought that it will last forever, and it didn't. Unfortunately, he didn't listen to our advice, and in some moment we was just stuck, and in some moment we actually rewrote the system on the different technologies. And but what in that particular moment, instead of scaling, we used to rewriting, and we could done it like year before, but with much less money and much more faster, because we didn't develop so much custom tricky things on that time, and we could develop them already on the custom plot format on the WordPress, which we in the end of the day just put into junk.
So I think that if, for example, scale our advices to this case, so what would be the perfect case for this exact project? So I think that when they have we launched this MVP for the WordPress, and he decided to scale for the Japanese, and it works okay.
In the moment when he decided to scale to the Japanese, we're supposed to sit down together and tell, which we tried to, but unfortunately didn't work. But we tried to, okay, what's our next plan? Business going well. What do you wanted to scale to the next country? How the things will be different there? Okay, that's not anymore for this technology. Architecture just doesn't work anymore. So let's start to developing in the parallel. Maybe the second team. Actually, this particular case, there was a lots of money. There was enough money to start this parallel development. But any businessman wanted to save money, which is okay. The problem then sometimes they wanted to save so much, then at the end of the day they lose more. That was the case, right? So on that moment when we already started to scale to the Japan, that was the necessary thing. In case we will not make these changes on the WordPress, they would not scale. The deal would be lost, because there was the partners on the Japanese side and also on. So in that moment, we supposed to have two parallel teams. And somewhere that's scaling to new country for this particular business took in half of the year. You developing everything you need on the technical side for the months or two, on the WordPress, because again, this is super fast, which is cool. But on the business side, they take a little bit more. So we kind of had all technical solutions before they needed for the business, which was perfectly done. But in case we would start to develop on the parallel the custom solution, till end of this Japanese expansion, we would already have fully brand new, cool and easy to scale system. And for the third country, we would already use this one. In some moment, we will shut WordPress, move all the CEO to the new system, and that's it. And WordPress could be used only for the blog, which is, by the way, totally fine. Really cool solution. When you have the website, then you have WordPress blog under the subdomain, like blog, like .linkups.com, like we have, for example, on our website right now. And that's like, that's how that would be the right plan, super smooth. That's obviously some kind of the fairy tale thing, because in the real business, you have, some kind of the blocks, like, I don't know, team limits, money limits, and so on and so on. But that's the general way how you need to think about this. I mean, the hardest of all of that is just to make that decision that for the half of the year, we will not kind of do anything. For the business owners, that looks like nothing is happening. Well, because engineers typing on their keyboards, they're making that solutions.
They actually develop the same solution.
Yeah, they develop the same that they already have. Yeah.
Psychology, it's very hard for you
to do this. Yes, but but in case you don't do it, in the year from now, you may have no business, or you may lose all of your customers, because experience you are given is shit.
Okay, so. I believe that it is all for today. So to conclude, like, what advice we are give? So when the horse is dead, get off it. So and it will be hard, but you have to work with your mindset,
with your therapist maybe.
Yeah. And understand that is something what you need to do in order in a year you want to have the business which are possible to scale. And right now, yes, you have to lose this 3 months, half of year to like do nothing. Let's call it like this, like during
business point,
for business it is doing nothing, but actually you support your future. So the second point is sit down in defining what is the core, what make you most money to start development from it. Hire the right engineers who know how to transfer all the user database, how to properly set up Theo from your WordPress site to the new custom solution, and do this fast. So when you make this decision, so start to do this, find the team and start to make new platform on the site. So, and in some time you will need to support 2 platforms, but like, we believe that is the best way. So how to scale from WordPress to the custom software.
Yeah, and by the way, the example that I mentioned in the beginning with that grave thing, they actually stopped they could not scale, and right now they're in the moment of making this decision to change to the better code base and custom solution.
And how long the solution already exists?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, they existing for the 3 years or maybe even more, 4 years already, and they invested on the WordPress so much that in case they took the same money, they would already build their own custom solution. So they just didn't make this get off thing in the right time. But hopefully, I mean, because this is the great idea, the proof of concept showed us that this is the real business. And I believe they do it soon.
So I think that the main advice for everybody who have the WordPress website and WordPress businesses, which is based on the WordPress digital product. So
if you want to scale, find the right moment. To get off. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. And in case we harm your feelings about the WordPress, we'll write it about that. Tell no, you are wrong. Well, we would like to discuss that. That would be awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.